Hi there, it's Bowlstown bringing you another interesting hand from our 10p, 20p 9max game. So this is another hand later in the session and we've dropped down to 7 players. One thing to note, that the stacks are still very deep. So we've got players like myself with £90, Russell with 95, Milan 61, which is going to make this game play in a different way to a shallower game. So we're going to see a lot more post-flop action. So let's get straight onto the hand. So I am first to speak under the gun, and I have the ace-7 of spades, and I elect to raise to 60p. Now this is probably a loose-ish open in a 7-handed game. A suited ace is a good hand, and we'd want to raise to eliminate other players. So Josh folds, Alan calls, and Milan, the main villain in this hand, elects to call in the cutoff, the one before the button. Now this is a fairly standard play, which is going to make a reasonable amount of the time with hands that are not quite good enough to free bet, but he wants to continue on the flop with. So if we have a look here on the hand range chart, I would say Milan is quite a conservative player and is therefore not going to go mental with some hands that other players would free bet. So we're going to say that he could have ace jack, ace 10, ace 9, ace 8 quite comfortably, probably worse. In some instances he'll have king, queen suited, king 10, all of the suited kings, some big suited queens, Jack 10, Jack 9, 10 9, 9 8. He'll also have a lot of these mid-low pocket pairs where he's going to try and flop a set in position. We'll leave the 8-7 suited in. And then he's going to have some unsuited Broadway cards. So ace queen off, we'll give him all the big unsuited hands. So that's quite a wide range. He's quite a conservative player in a lot of senses, so I wouldn't expect him to have too much more than this in this spot. Maybe pocket nines, might not re-raise that. And let's see what happens in the rest of the pre-flop action. Jake folds, J10 folds, Russell calls. Russell should call here with pretty much anything, given that he's putting 40p in to win £1.90. He's getting such a good price. Pretty much gonna have to call with any suited cards, any pair, any 2 high cards, and we just want to be folding the absolute dregs. 9-4 off, queen 3 off, 6-3 off, where it's gonna be near enough impossible to win the pot. So we go to a flop, and it's king of spades, 9 of spades, 5 of clubs. So remind, I have the ace-7 of spades. We flop the nut flush draw on this board. Russell checks, which he should always do as he is playing in flow. So I have a decision here. I can elect to check my flush draw, or I can elect to bet it. Given the reasonably dry nature of this flop, king 9-5, 1 suit of 2, this is a hand you could go either way. I prefer to play on the aggressive side and give myself a chance to win by other players folding, but there's certainly a case for checking, because someone may have a king or a 9 here and they're probably never folding, if I'm honest. But I take the aggressive route and I bet £1 into £1.90, bet just over half the pot. Then I'm really surprised by this play on the flop. So Milan elects to raise to £3. So when a player does this, particularly a player I've never seen he's done anything crazy, this is really going to narrow his range and the amount of hands that he can have here. So we go back to the chart and we have a look at the hands that we said Milan probably is playing in this position. What hands actually do this? So is he doing this with pocket 2s, just going mental? No, it's just not. 3s, no. 4s. 5s is a set and could conceivably raise a set here. 6s, no. 7s, no. 8s, no. Nines is a set and could do this. We look at the other hands. Jack 10, just a naked gut shot, probably not. Queen 10, probably not. Queen Jack, probably not. We get to the kings. King 9 is 2 pair and would do this. King 10, maybe. Don't know him well enough, I doubt it, but I'll leave it in for the time being. And then we get to the aces. Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Ace 10, Ace 9, no. Then we get to the suited hands. So, is he blasting off 8-7 suited? 8-7 of spades, yeah, probably, but it's impossible because I have the 7 of spades. 9-8 of spades is impossible, the 9 of spades is on the board. 10-9 of spades is impossible, the 9's on the board. Jack 9, Queen 9, clearly they're impossible. King 9, could have a King 9 suited, like King 9 of clubs. Be a nice hand to have. King 8, probably not blasting off. We go to the suited aces. They're all out. I have the ace of spades. It's always helpful. So he's got these other kings suited. So King Queen of diamonds, King Jack of diamonds. Would he be re-raising for value? I don't know Milan well enough to count these out and say he definitely wouldn't raise me with top pair. So I'm going to leave them in for the time being. So the hands he's got here largely are top pair. So he's got a king. He has got King 9 a lot for 2 pair. He's got a set of 9s, a set of 5s, or he's got a super uber draw, which is a flush draw and a gut shot. But there's only 3 combinations of this, such as Queen Jack of spades, Queen 10 of spades, Jack 10 of spades. Would he blast off like this with the Queen Jack of clubs? Arguably not, it's just the gut shot. So the vast majority of the hands here are actual value hands. There's so few bluffs here for him to possibly have. This is going to help decision making later in the hand, because he's narrowed his range so much on a dry board. This makes it easy to play against. So with the nut flush draw, knowing I'm against a hand that is either top pair, 2 pair or a set, we're just going to call. There's no reason to raise because he's not going to fold. He may fold some of his top pairs, but all of his great hands he's never folding. So we elect to call. Now the turn is an inconsequential 4 of diamonds, changes absolutely nothing. Nothing gets there. So we still have ace high, we have no reason to bet it. Milan was the last aggressor and we're just going to check it to him in the hope that we get a free look at the river. Now Milan bets 3/4 pot, bets £5.92. So what we have to ask ourselves here is, are we getting the right price? There's 9 spades left in the pack with 1 card to come, so we would need to have about 18% equity in order to make this call. Now he's denying us that opportunity by only playing us about 3 to 1. About less than that, about 2.5 to 1. So 6 to win 14. So we would need about 30% equity to be able to call here. But there's a thing to consider, and the way Milan played the flop makes this an easy call. He has such a strong hand here so often. If the spade comes, can he fold? Probably not. Probably not. So we'll make a bad call on the turn, knowing that if the spade does come in, we're going to get paid and it'll make the bad call a good call with implied odds. It's something to research. Implied odds that if you make your hand, you'll get paid off on the next card, and therefore this will be a profitable call. Given that Milan has £50 left in his stack, and there's £20 in the pot if I make the call, this is a clear call, because if I bet £6-7, I'm going to get my money back. Clearly, I'm going to be betting more than that if the spade comes in. Now, the river is the absolutely beautiful 6 of spades, makes us the absolute nuts with the ace high flush. Typically, I would advocate playing in flow and checking to the last better. But when we make our ace high flush here, and we look at the range of hands that he has, Is Milan now going to bet King 10 for a third time? Probably not. He's just going to check it back and hope it wins because the flush is straight. The flush has got there, and 7-8 has got there. No, not that it's likely I have 7-8 here. Is he going to bet King Queen? Probably not. King Jack? Probably not. Is he going to bet King 9? Be close. Probably betting 9s, betting 5s, but they're the two hands he's least likely to have. And if there's a miracle that he's got in flush himself, then he's going to bet. But it's so unlikely he's going to bet with a hand. What we want to do is put him in a tough spot with his good hands and make him have to make a call that he doesn't want to make. So I elect to go really big here, and I think you could bet any amount. You know, if you bet £10 here, you're always getting called. But his hand range is quite inelastic, and I think if you bet 20, you're probably just as likely to get called as if you bet 10. So I elect to go big, and I bet basically 25 or just over the pot. Now, we look at his hand range. This does give him an opportunity to occasionally fold. If he had the Queen Jack of spades, he can't fold. He's got a flush. He might even raise. Second nuts. Queen 10, same. They're all calling. The sets are going to call. As much as he doesn't want to, they're going to call. We might let King 10 get off the hook here. We might let King Jack get off the hook here. However, he's never folding King 9. He's too high up in his range. Arguably, he's not folding King Queen either here. So, that being said, there's so many hands he has to call with compared to the fold. We've put him in a tough spot to get maximum value, and unfortunately for him, he does make the call, and it's the right decision because he turns out to have 2 pair, and I'll be honest, I don't think you can really fold 2 pair here, but the way that he played the flop allows us to have so much information on this hand that we could make perfect decisions on the turn and the river to get the maximum. So when you play your hands, you need to think, what is the decision I'm making now actually saying? So when you raises on the flop, he's narrowed his range of hands so thin, probably because he was spared a spade would come or the queen would come, so the Jack 10 straight gets there, or just to prevent that happening. Sometimes you just have to call and let the other person do the work, because I likely bet the turn with the ace high flush draw if you just call, and then I bet the river and you lose a small pot. As played, I don't think he done anything wrong. I don't think he could really do much once he raised the flop, but that may have been a lesson to learn, that his hand was actually too strong to raise here, and he was only ever going to get called by hands that were drawing very live and we're going to put them in a tough spot if they get it. So that's another hand review. Hope you enjoyed it. I will do some more in the future. I've been Bowlestown, and I will see you next time.